Walking in Burano is a game that I played and reviewed about 1 million years ago. Not really, but it was before the pandemic, so everything feels like it was that far back. And I really enjoy Walking in Burano. It's a simple, pretty game in which you don't just figure out how to score, but you also get to choose what categories you score. And since I enjoyed the original game so much, I was sure very excited when I heard that there was a roll and write version, because I like roll and write, so there is an effective retooling of a design that I already like, in which you get to roll dice and also write on stuff. Somehow, that makes everything better. A lot of games, I think, they just become better when you roll and write. I don't know. I just love the mechanics so much. The game is playable multiplayer, and also it comes with a solo variant, which is the way I played it. After I read the rulebook, it seemed to me that the solo version didn't really sacrifice many of the options. I thought you could kind of get the good sense of how the game works, and so I played it solo. But I'll start by explaining to you how the game works multiplayer, and then you'll make your own assessment, I guess. Walking in Burano, it's a roll and write, so everybody's gonna have a unique, a sheet of paper, a personal sheet of paper on which they're gonna write. You have a pad of 40, and they come in with four different diagrams. And so you can mix and match, you can have each player have a different one, or choose if you want everybody to have the same. And then you also have a help player aid, which you use as a reminder of how you mark things on your sheet of paper, and also you keep track of how many coins you gain. Each player will have 2 boats, and suppose that these are mine. Also, you have these 2 nice player aids, and you have those colorful translucent dice, and you have a cat, which indicates who is the first player. Very simple. The first player will roll dice, and then you place the dice in the slots corresponding to their color on those stands there. Then, starting with the first player, the player will place one of their boats onto a space in front of a certain die, committing to use that die. So now, since I placed my boat there, I'm gonna mark something on my board using the pink 4. And then the next player goes, and they're gonna mark something based on the green 2. This player wants the 6 red. And you can place boats on spaces already occupied by somebody, and that somebody will receive a coin for that. So there's an advantage if you control early on things that other players have already placed their boat on. Alternately, instead of placing a boat in one of the canals, you can simply flip it face down that way, and you collect 2 coins. Each time that you collect a coin, either because somebody goes to spaces where you had your boat, or you spent your coin that way, or you spent your boat that way, you simply circle one of your coins here, and that's how you keep track of how many coins you collected. When you're actually spending them, you're gonna cross them out, like so. For example, you can spend a coin to alter the result of one of the dice. So if I won, I would like a 5 in pink, then I spend a coin, and now I can mark as if I had a pink 5 next to my boat. And so we're gonna talk later about what it means to mark things. Another way you use coins after you're done marking your things, you can invite people to see your beautiful street in Burano. And to do that, you need to spend 3 coins. Bit expensive. They don't come cheap, these visitors. And if you do so, you choose one of these visitors, you mark it, because you can call each only once. Suppose I'm gonna call this visitor here, and I want this visitor to go to this place here. That was visitor A, so I write the number there, and then I write how many points it generates, because different visitors will score different things. They want to see different things, and so they give you different points based on where you send them and how you set up your situation, which ultimately is the nice linchpin of the design. You want to create a lot of nice combos here and then have the time to call people so that they actually score you points. The multiplayer game is over when somebody calls the fifth visitor, a fifth visitor. Then that triggers the end of the game actually, and then there will be the next round will be the last. When you play solo, you take your turn as normal. At the end of your turn, you cross out 2 of these starting from the bottom, and that indicates, and that's the timer of the game. The game will be over when the coins that you collected and or spent get adjacent or covered by these coins that are automatically crossed out at the end of each solo turn. Another restriction, and the only other change in the solo game, is that you will have your 2 boats, and then you will use a second set of boats, the ghost player. After you take your turn, you replace those boats with that of the ghost player. And then if the following turn you're going to the same space, you have to spend a coin. As simple as that. If you say use one of your boats to collect coins and you place the other there, then the following turn there will be only one ghost boat there. Or instead of replacing them like I do, I simply use two sets. And so this turn that I place those 2. Now this other turn I place these 2 here, spend a coin there, collect, and so on and so forth. The idea is that you mark the canals in such a way that using the same space 2 turns in a row will cost you a coin. As simple as that. Now, the stuff that we are going to mark and how we are going to do it. I can use a die of a certain color, say 6 blue, to write the number under a vase in the building of that color. So with the 6 blue, I could write a 6 in any of these vases here, just like so. And I'm going to do that because usually it's pretty good to do so, to write high numbers there. Because later, you can only write a number in a vase if it's not higher than the lowest number you have. In other words, right now I wouldn't be able to place a 6 or a 5 in this building because I have a 4 there already. I can use a die to mark a cat in a certain building. Now there are no cats in blue, so that's no good. But suppose that, there you go, I got green. And so I can mark a cat. With a 1 or a 2, I can mark a cat on the first floor, 3 or 4 in the second floor, 4 or 5 or 6 on the third floor. I can mark these tents here, see they're blue and green, blue and red, and an odd number will allow me to mark a red one, an even number will allow me to mark a blue one. Street lamps are very finicky because you can mark it only if you have the correct number and building. Which just so happens I would be able to do that this time because I got a 4 on a pink die, so I can mark the 4 street lamp on the pink building. And then the chimneys are a little more accepting because, again, say I choose the one yellow, I can write the number there. But they all want different numbers, and so this turn I would still be able also to do that. Or if that's what's available, I could do that because I got a 1 and a 2 and so on and so forth. So the different dice work in different ways depending on what you're marking with them. And then we got the people that want to come and see our place, or at least that we actually have to pay to convince. 3 coins so they can come and see our good work. The Storysteer likes to see a lot of vases in a single building, so she scores you the numerical value of the vases in a single building. That's why maybe I want to send her here after I set up a lot of nice vases here. This will also be good because I got 3 vases there if I set them up. This person likes to see a lot of cats in a single building, 4 points per cat. This person likes to see tents, chimneys, and street lamps in a single building. The cop likes to see Burano streets well lit, and so we'll give you 5 points for each street lamp not adjacent to one another. He wants to be spread out. Santa likes chimneys, 4 points for each chimney that you marked. Again, at the time when you actually call them. The florist, I think, likes to see a lot of flowers on a single floor. This guy likes a lot of cats on a single floor again. The painter wants to see cats and vases again, all on the same level. She likes to see pairs of blue and red tents anywhere, as long as you form a pair, different colors. So I got a red and a blue. That would be 6 points that she gives me. And then this guy likes to see, very, very precise guy, likes to see a vase and a chimney or light lamp or of the same value, same numerical value in the same building. So for each building, oh, look at this. I got this vase, this chimney. Now, where is it? There you go. Now, give me a vase. There you go. This chimney has a 2, and there is a 2 on this vase. He likes that pair there, vase and chimney. And so that if I send him there, that would give me 6 points because of 2 and the 2. So again, different people will score you different things, and so you're always balancing, creating nice patterns and spending coins to call them at the right time. If you wait for too long, well, the game may be over before you can cash in. In the multiplayer, of course, you're trying to get the highest score. In the solo, you're trying to get a score which is as high as possible. This game can only be described as lovely. It is a lovely game, just like its predecessor, but now we are rolling dice and collecting coins and marking things on a board, which is just something very nice and very visceral, very unique to do. Is again, we play board games and not only video games, which I play also, because there's a strong sense of direct physical connection with the game, and it doesn't get any more so than when you're writing on a game and making it unique. And yes, it becomes perishable, and there's a big philosophical truth, I guess, about the impermanence of everything here, but it's a fun game. Maybe speaking about the impermanence of all things that this game reminds us of, it does come with only 40 sheets, which is not a lot. As a solo player, I'm gonna be fine. But if I was playing a game night with 4 people, then it's only 10 plays, and that's not a lot. I was a bit surprised by that. I like the fact that the situations, that the diagrams are different, so presenting with different challenges. Also, each sheet comes with 2 spaces already marked, and since I don't mind a free advantage when I'm playing a game, that means that the sheet and those initially marked places may then direct your gameplay in different ways, because now I start with cats or with flowers or with other things, which also prevents you maybe from falling in love with always the same strategy, always going with that thing that then I can also partially use for that other person, and so on and so forth. So it gives you incentives to try to go in different ways and use different paths to victory every time. Gameplay is very simple once you get past the fact that, I don't know, maybe a casual player may feel a little bit confounded at the beginning, but the different things you can do with the dice. And maybe that would be one thing that would worry me about multiplayer. I wonder if there's going to be a little bit on analysis paralysis, which for a game this light is probably not, that's not the greatest thing. It never is, but maybe if it's an epic game, it's worth getting in it. But I think that you do have a lot of things to consider, which is a good thing. But again, make sure that you and your friends don't turn that into too much of a good thing and into downtime. The game feels like there's a strong solo element anyways. I mean, the biggest way of interacting with each other is that the players gain coins when you get when they get when they share the same space, but it doesn't seem like a huge change of things. Players are probably not gonna look at each other's boards to the point of like, oh, I know that that player wants to go to that space, so I should go there early, because it also happens to match what I want to do. I don't think that's really going to happen. It's just a nice thing that you get extra coins from time to time, I guess. But it's also a nice challenge that you have to spend coins in the solo version if you want to go to certain spaces. And so the idea of alternating, I should really ideally use the building only every other turn, but you want to load a building with certain things to score it well. That's a nice challenge actually that you have in the solo version. And you got to remember, oh my gosh, I forgot that I was working on the blue building, because I'm not doing that every turn. Nice little interesting challenge there. And the timer caused by the automatic filling up of the coin section is also very interesting. You can try to manipulate the end of the game a little bit, because if you get out of coins, you're getting closer to that. But you do need those coins, don't you, to summon those people. So choosing when to do things, I could load up this building a little bit more and score it later, but I may not have the time to do so, so I need to score it now when maybe it is suboptimal. And making that timing decision is, again, one of the most interesting elements of the design. So, Walking in Burano as a design retained all the stuff that I already liked in the original game, and now we roll dice and write on piece of paper, so what's not to love about that? I'm definitely happy with Walking in Burano Roll and Write.